You're listening to Living at the Highest Level with LATHL.
You're listening to Living at the Highest Level with LATHL. And today I have a good friend here with me, Matt Elieff. He is the co-owner of Muscle Minds. And he is, I would consider him a natural health coach, very knowledgeable when it comes to training, supplementation, anything to do with the body. He is a student. He is becoming a master, I would say at this point. Right, Matt? What do you think about that?
Yes, sir. Dat, thanks for having me on the show, man. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for the warm welcome. So, yeah, I'm part of the Muscle Minds team with my brother, Corey. We are the co-owners of this business. And, yeah, I'm just here to talk about the business, what we're about, and kind of our vision for changing the health and fitness industry. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for me as well, just hearing your guys' stories. So this project originally started when you guys were in Ontario, and how did it kind of come out to the West Coast?
Absolutely, Dad. Great question, man. So I'll kind of give you the quick rundown on Muscle Minds and how it all got started. So originally, for those people that know my brother Corey and I, we're from Ontario, so we're the East Coast crew, and we started in Ontario probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I think it was about that. So it was kind of an interesting story. I was never involved in the health and fitness industry at all. And literally, man, I had like this calling, and it's strange. I've never really told anybody this story. I was working for my cousin's company at the time in the construction business, just kind of came out of school for the summer. And I just happened to drive by a store that was called Sports Nutrition Depot. And something just kind of flipped inside me. And I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go there next week when I'm back for the weekend. I'm just going to walk in there and apply. And literally, that's what I did. And I don't know where it came from. This instinctual feeling just told me to go apply in there. I walked in. The manager was working, coincidentally enough, and we hit it off, and he kind of just welcomed me to the team that day. And from that point on, I just kind of immersed myself in the health and fitness industry. So that store later became Popeye Supplements, which is one of the well-known supplement stores across Canada. And I just got mentored by this guy, Shane, and his sister, Trisha, who was a holistic nutritionist. And they just opened my eyes to this world of health and nutrition that was foreign to me at the time. I mean, most of us don't really grow up learning about health and nutrition. And to me, that was kind of the starting point for it all. And then from there, my brother was on his own journey at the time. He was immersed in personal development, self-growth. So he was learning about nutrition side. He went to Tony Robbins seminars, learning about all these different things with the nutrition side and how we can really transform our body by what we put in and on our bodies. So from there, we continued with the personal development stuff, and that's kind of where the minds part of muscle came from, because we were really focused on the body. And then once we began immersing ourselves in personal development, we learned about how powerful the mind is. We started studying people like Kevin Trudeau, Tony Robbins, Wayne Dyer, who unfortunately just passed away, and all these coaches, Jack Canfield, about how powerful we are. And then that's kind of where the combination came. And kudos to Corey, because he came up with this brilliant name called Muscle Minds, combining the physical aspect of it and the mental aspect and bringing it together. So that's kind of how it all got started. And from there, it's been an interesting journey, and we'll talk about it throughout the show today. So
it's really interesting how people perceive the body and the mind. I think there's a huge misconception out there that your body really dictates how you're feeling mentally and emotionally. But it's so the opposite. It's so completely the opposite side of that. Like, your mind really molds, first of all, your environment. It molds your reality. And it just, when your mind is in the right state, you just create everything that comes towards it, and you attract it. You just attract everything positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
But people don't realize too that, you know, it's about how you set your mood. Because to be honest, no one's ever going to be 100% happy all the time, right? But I think the important thing is just being conscious of it and knowing how to just make those adjustments on a daily basis. Like, if you get in an accident, it is what it is. Right? And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
But what you can really dictate is how you feel towards it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because being positive or negative, the outcome's the same.
Absolutely.
But if you have a positive state, it will just be a more enjoyable experience.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I can speak to experience on that one for sure. I took a nasty fall probably about 3-4 weeks ago now. I was climbing the Big Chief up by Squamish there with a couple friends, and took a face first fall on a rock. We went to the waterfall and kind of, trailed off the beaten path a little bit and slipped under the waterfall and landed face first. Took about 25 to 30 stitches in my face, broke my nose, busted my tooth. And after that, I had an extremely cathartic moment, and I just had like this release. And I just looked at it like it was one of the greatest moments that happened to me. It's almost like the universe was saying, you need this. You really need this slap in the face. So just to your point about using the mind to really overcome your circumstances and take the positive from things, and not just, this is a bad thing. No, it was a great thing, and I've turned it into a great thing. And it's so powerful when you do that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, and just for the listeners out there, I have 5 easy rules that you guys can follow on a daily basis just to keep your mood in the right state. And I've taught this to a lot of our sales reps that I've coached along the way here.
Okay.
Again, they're very simple, very easy. So the first rule is don't panic.
Okay.
Regardless of what comes at you in life, the worst thing you can do is panic. Right? Just stay calm and just breathe. Just take a nice deep breath, and the outcome will happen. Just let it happen. Because people, regardless of what's happening in your lives, if it's not going to kill you, it will make you stronger. Believe me.
That's right. That's spitting gold here. I'm actually taking notes on this. Continue.
So rule 2 here is walk fast. And I'll dive in a bit deeper on what walking fast means. So walking fast just represents being a person that's in high demand. So just be busy. Right? When you're busy, you're not stuck in this place, and your mind starts to wander. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes people, believe me, if you have too much time on your hands and you don't have goals or a direction, put this energy, it's just going to go around in a circle. And especially if you're a person that likes to eat the media up, it'll kill you.
Yeah.
Believe me.
That's a big one. Grant Cardone talks about that. He says any white space on the calendar is an invitation to the devil to come into your life. Yeah. And the devil being procrastination, wasting time, lethargy, laziness, all that type of stuff seeps in when you have white space on the calendar. So that's a huge one.
Yeah, even if you see people that are walking down a road or in a mall, and you look at them, they have a good, fast stride, you always think, that person's like, going somewhere.
They're busy. They got a meeting.
They have a meeting. There's things happening.
Yeah.
Right. So for all you guys out there, if you want, to show women that you're a man of high value, start walking fast. It's just a natural way for them to see that, first of all, you have somewhere to go, and you're not just some dude that has nothing on his plate. Good
point.
Right? Kill that white space.
Very good point.
My third rule is do the right thing always. Because a lot of times, there's going to be opportunities in your lives that you can potentially cheat. Right? Maybe on a test. Maybe you're going to cheat having to pay for something that you got for free, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But it always comes full circle. Right? You can't cheat life.
Definitely.
Right? So if you're doing something that goes against your values for a quick dollar, for, some type of intent, right? Even in a relationship, if you're not being congruent and true to your partner or whatnot, it'll come and bite you in the ass, and it'll be 10 times worse.
Absolutely.
So just do the right thing always. Regardless of how difficult it's going to be in that moment in time, you're going to thank yourself, because the future value of the person who you are, is just going to thank you.
Absolutely. And just to add on to that point, it's funny that you say that. I like to study movies, and a movie I recently watched that resonated with me enormously was a movie called A Most Violent Year. I'm not sure. Have you seen that film?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. This film was probably one of the most moving films I've seen. And like I said, I like to study movies. I like to study strong characters. I like to take attributes from the characters. I understand their movies, but I like to study all avenues I can and learn where I can. So I watched this movie, and don't be thrown by the title, because that title doesn't really do the movie justice. But a phenomenal film. I'm not going to give too much away, but it really hits home with what Dat was just talking about, of do the right thing always. It's about a businessman who would not sacrifice his integrity or his core values to overcome an obstacle that many deemed impossible to overcome without cheating, so to speak. Without breaking the rules, without breaking the laws, without doing what he thought was wrong. And that is such a powerful movie. I can't even explain it enough. It's especially for people who are into business and into this whole world of growth and development and building a business. I highly recommend it. And as soon as you talked about do the right thing, that's the first thing I thought about. Integrity, make every decision you make with integrity, and you cannot go wrong. You will always be steered in the right direction, always.
And what's that movie called again, Matt? Just for the audience that are listening.
Yeah, it's called A Most Violent Year. It's check it out. It's phenomenal.
All right, guys, Google a violent year.
A most violent. Year.
Most violent. Oh, there you go. Okay, we're on the fourth rule now, Matt.
Okay.
The fourth rule is never give up, regardless of how hard the obstacle or the challenge is. If you put it down as your goal to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve, there's going to be hard days for everybody. And sometimes the direction for success is not always a straight line. Sometimes it's a million little circles, but if you give up, you'll never get there. You just have to keep on believing in the reason why you're doing it. And a lot of people, it's really funny because they think that they're wasting a lot of their time following the path of what they want to do, and they want to be rewarded with financial gain. But really, at the end of the day, money is just paper and plastic, right? It doesn't really build fulfillment.
Yeah.
It makes things a bit more convenient. Right? To me, money's not a benefit; it's a future.
Yeah, and it's energy too. It's not it's card. Yeah, it's card and paper, but a lot of time it's just energy.
Yeah.
Right. So.
And what I'm getting at is, people like you can never buy time back. So if you're in a situation where you're doing something that you don't really want to do, now's the time to really get off your ass and stop doing it. If you listen to this podcast, I support you getting off your ass, saying this is not where I want to be, and I'm going to go follow what my passion for life is.
That's right.
And when you do that, you can't buy time back, but what you're doing when you're going through the actions, you're going through the experience, is you're creating memories that last a lifetime.
Absolutely.
Right? So never give up on your goals, your dreams, and that person you want to become, or things that you always wanted to do. Right? At the end of life, all it is a collection, it's a catalog of the memories that you put yourself in, and you said that you were going to do this regardless of how tough it was going to be and how challenging. So rule 4, never give up. And I'm going to say rule 5 is probably the most important, is be grateful. Right? Be grateful for everything you have. Be grateful for the life that you get to live on a daily basis, regardless of your financial situation, where you are in your career, if you're a student, if you're an athlete that's trying to make it, whatever. Be grateful for just the opportunity of being alive. We live in probably the best era ever, without a doubt.
Definitely.
Like, without a doubt. Like, we're in a time where you can be, do, and create anything you want. And I think that's so powerful, because there's never been another time to start a business. You can start a business online. You can create your own financial income. And then you can travel anywhere you want in the world. You can live anywhere you want. And I think a lot of people that grew up in this society, they just feel so entitled.
For sure.
I should just have it naturally. But what they don't understand is, being entitled is probably the worst cancer you can have.
I agree with you. And being grateful, it doesn't even have to be the big things. Some days I'm just lying in bed and I just ask thanks for the bed and thanks for having a place to live and being able to see. When I had that injury, I was just like, I was honestly thankful to be alive. Because if I had, fallen the wrong way or smashed my head or I got unconscious, I could have fell back and broke my neck. So many different things could have happened. And you just put in perspective how often we take the little things for granted, and the little things make the big things. So, yeah, as every day, just be grateful for everything you have. You might not be in the perfect situation. You might not have like all the money you want or have the best relationship, but by being grateful, you will attract those things into your life. And it's such a powerful emotion and it's such a powerful energy when you're grateful. So, it actually ties in well to the never give up persistence. And I'm not sure if your listeners have heard it before, but it's the bamboo tree story about the Chinese bamboo. Have you heard that?
I haven't heard it yet. Enlighten us, please.
Okay. So the bamboo story talks about when you plant this bamboo tree, you have to water it and fertilize it, and water it and fertilize it, and water and fertilize it for 5 years. And in those 5 years, it doesn't even come above ground. Like, you don't even see it, right? And then on the beginning of the 6th year, or in a short period of time, it grows 90 feet. In a year, it grows 90 feet. And the question comes, did it grow 90 feet in 6 years, or did it grow 90 feet in that 1 year? And most people are like, oh, it grew 90 feet in that 1 year. It's not the right answer, though. Because if you had stopped watering it and fertilizing it once in those 6 years, it would have died and you never would have saw it. So it actually grew 90 feet in those collective 6 years, even though you didn't see it for the first 5. And it's a bit esoteric, but it applies to everything in our life. It's all about delayed gratification. You might not see the fruits of your labor right away. You might not see all these things coming into your life. But if you keep at it and you're persistent and, you, like Dad said, you never give up, sooner or later that bamboo tree is going to sprout and it's going to give you everything you wanted. But you have to be willing to put up with delayed gratification. And it's you can't even put words on how powerful it is.
Yeah, in this society, everyone has the shiny new effect. Where they want everything just shiny and new all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, and it's really become almost a way of life now for the people and the kids that are growing up in this day and age, because they're so exposed to the social media.
Yeah,
and they're exposed to just everything instant.
Yeah,
like. When I was in high school, in our time, like there might have been 1 or 2 kids with a cell phone, to be honest. And now you look at the world in this day and age, and even like a 5-year-old has an iPad.
For sure.
And they just grow up not knowing what it was like beforehand. And what they really miss out on is having good social skills. Just to go out and just, hey, introduce yourself. My name is Dad, shake their hand, and just make new friends. Everyone just hides behind a keyboard, or they hide behind their phone.
And we all do it too, because you catch yourself when you're in that, like, when you're in the elevator, or you get when you're still those almost awkward situations socially. You just kind of pull out your phone. It's almost like a crutch. And I found myself just trying to put it away. Trying to put it away and be there, present, be there in the moment, and engage with people. And to me, it's tough because I'm more of an introvert. So to actually step outside my comfort zone like that is difficult, but. It's so much more rewarding when you connect with somebody.
Oh,
on the way here, I was walking. I was doing my fast walk, as Dad said. I was walking here fast, and 2 Asian women approached me and asked to take a video of them. And it just kind of stopped me in my world. I'm like, absolutely. It just kind of pulled me out of my world. I connect with them. They were from Korea. They were just talking. They just came here, and I was just like, man, that was a moment. If I had been on my phone or I'd been immersed just looking at a text or trying to ignore them or whatever, you missed that whole experience. Yeah. So I totally agree with you, man. We need to connect face to face, and I think social media is great. It's such a great tool, but it's kind of ironic in a way. It's almost desocializing us, So I mean, it's a great avenue if you use correctly, but connecting with people like we're doing right now is the best thing you can do.
I always like to play the elevator game. I call it.
Okay, what's that?
Man, if you guys ever work in a corporate office or anywhere with a lot of floors,
I don't know. Sorry, man. I just thought of like you dropping a bomb in an elevator and walking on.
That'd be pretty funny though. Yeah. But it's so funny because you'll always see this. If there's 5 people in the elevator, no one will speak to each other.
Yeah.
But I always come in. I'll try to mix things up.
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey. How you doing? What floor are you on? What's on 14, huh?
That's awesome, man.
And I try to just get everyone engaged, and I always try to make a joke because it's almost like when you go into an elevator, you're expected to die.
Yeah.
And in silence.
Yeah.
Everyone's just supposed to look at the elevator doors, not say a peep, and then when it goes to the main floor, they're just dispersed.
Yeah, it's one of those awkward things. I was actually reading, I saw a post on that the other day about cool things to do in an elevator. And one was just start singing or give everybody a high five or just hug them and just do all these weird random things. And you know what? That's a great one, man. I think next time on an elevator, I'm going to try something like that and just kind of pull people out of their element, right? And stuff like that makes people's day. It really does. Something happens like that. You go home, you talk about it, like, oh, this weird guy in the elevator just randomly gave me a hug. And it was just like the greatest part of my day. So that's cool, man. I really like that. That's a nice little tidbit to take home.
Yeah, just again, be alive.
Be alive, yeah, that's good.
It's so funny because we all go and chase this mystical life with all this financial and spiritual well-being, and then we just always neglect the most simple thing: is just talk to people and be kind.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is crazy, right?
I know.
So Matt, let's go back to Muscle Minds now. So what's the service that you guys are providing right now? You guys do a lot of personal training. You guys give educational packages as well as do conferences and seminars. And how does everything work?
For sure. Good question, Dad. So again, Muscle Minds started in Ontario, and at the time we really wanted to target the parents with young children. Mm-hmm. We find there was kind of a gap, and that's, just educating people in general. But parents with young children is kind of who we were targeting. We created this 50-page booklet that really targeted and focused on parents with children. And what we focused on was, how to read nutritional labels, ingredients to avoid feeding their children, great foods to feed them, provide them with some information on documentaries and books to read and websites to check out, and even how to get kids involved with food, how to actually make sure they're eating healthy even though they don't want to. So we put this whole package together. It was great. And then Muscle Minds kind of got put on hiatus. And back home, we started doing talks. We did talks at companies and local gyms and sharing our knowledge with as many people as possible. We did some personal training and transformations with individuals, mostly men who wanted to put on weight. It was kind of a niche for us because a lot of people are talking about losing weight. Mm-hmm. And for the ectomorphs out there that are hard gainers, we really want to help people put on muscle. So we did all these things. It was great. And then we kind of migrated west and things got put on hold. And now we're back at it, and now it's kind of more specialized. We're really focusing on the education aspect of things, more doing corporate seminars. So we did a seminar a couple of weeks ago at OK Tire head office. We got a couple more lined up for September. And at this point, it's really about growing the education aspect of the equation, and then moving into, a center, an empowerment center, and then a school later on. And I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later on. But for now, that's kind of what we're focusing on. It's big on education. It's big. And that's kind of what our slogan is based around: enlighten, empower, and evolve people. So we want to enlighten people with health and wellness information so they have that information. We want to empower them to make changes in their life because knowledge isn't power. The application of knowledge is power.
100%.
So enlighten them, give them the information they need, and then give them the motivation and skills to actually take that action and apply it in their life. And then lastly, empower or evolve them so they're no longer the same. So they're no longer the same, and then they understand what we're about, and then they go out and help people and change. And then it's just kind of that pay-it-forward system. So
that's really funny. A lot of people out there, they're always so reluctant to spend the extra bit of money on the better choice. And they never think, somewhere down the road, 15, 20 years, all these bad nutritional choices will one day catch up to them.
Yeah.
Right? And then your hospital bills are going to go up.
Yeah.
You're going to have, a lot of ill days, not feeling well.
For sure.
And again, it's a compound effect. You might not see the results of, eating bad food today, tomorrow, a year from now, but down the road, it's compounding.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I actually call that the slow burn of health. And the slow burn of health is when you're young and you're vibrant, and a lot of the time your body can handle that junk food. It can handle, it's an amazing mechanism, amazing machine, and it can handle a lot of that stuff. But it's a slow burn. Eventually it does catch up with you, and that's why you see, as people get older, they start to get arthritis, they start to get sick, they start to get heart disease, sickness, and high cholesterol, and all these things. It's because over that period of time, people weren't taking care of themselves. And not only their physical health, their mental health as well. That's a huge part of the equation that a lot of people in the health and fitness industry miss, is that part of the health equation is the mind. So totally agree with you. It's a slow burn, and you really have to focus on making those right choices every day. It doesn't always have to be 100%. That's what I tell people. It's, an 80-20 rule. And people might say, it's easy to just throw those numbers out there. But if you're doing 80% of your life is healthy, you're exercising, you're, eating healthy by, clean standards,
mm-hmm.
Raw fruits and vegetables, drinking lots of water, working on your mind and developing yourself, you're going to be fine. You can go and have that pizza and that ice cream, and your body's going to be able to function with it. Problem is people do the inverse, where they're, the ratio is a lot worse than that. It's probably like 95 wrong and 5% right. And then they wonder why they get sick. They wonder why they're tired. They wonder why they have, emotional issues and all these things. And it's because your life is out of balance.
What's really funny, though? Everyone buys, the unhealthy choice because it's convenient, quote-unquote convenient. And the reason why it's convenient is because they're too tired. Because they have the lack of energy, right?
Yeah.
They have the lack of energy to make healthy foods because they're just sluggish all day.
Yeah.
So people, if you're putting garbage in your system, don't expect to get gold out.
That's right. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? It's just going to keep circling. You're never going to really have get rid of that convenience factor if you're feeling tired.
Yeah, like the best analogy for me Matt, is if you want to look at yourself like a high-performing car.
Yeah.
Right? Like
what kind of car are you, Dad?
I'm going to say I'm like an F1 Ferrari.
You went right there, man.
And the reason why I think like that is because I have a lot of, big ambitions and big dreams I want to fulfill in my lifetime.
For sure.
So one of the best things I can do is invest in myself by putting the best fuel, so the best type of nutrition, fruits, vegetables, if possible, the free-range meat and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Because, it really affects how you feel.
Definitely.
Right? And how you're internally feeling is going to really affect your output.
Definitely.
Like whatever you're doing, if it's for work, it's for athletic performance, or if it's just traveling. Like the better fuel you have, the better you can perform. Like hands down. Like anyone that is doing high performance activities, high performance in any field, they will agree with you. No one's going to eat McDonald's every single day and be an amazing person.
That's right. I agree, man. Totally. It's so important, and it's just understated, and people just kind of take it for granted, right? They take good health for granted, and then as soon as they get sick, it's like, what do I do to get better? And they do everything right to get better, and then they just kind of revert back to their ways. So taking care of yourself is huge. It's huge, and we talk about it a lot, but it's so important. Even with healing, like I was juicing twice a day, eating as clean as I could, drinking lots of water, filling my body with the proper fats, and I healed my face in a pretty decent amount of time. And it's crazy how fast your body can heal when you give it what it needs. It's a healing mechanism. It knows how to heal. You just got to give it what it needs.
And I want to, ask you a quick question about like holistic health. A lot of people like out there, they have no idea what holistic health is. And I think there's a stigma to it, that they're just kind of like a bunch of, voodoo doctors or like, shamans or whatever. But like, as I've got to know you and Corey and a lot of people that actually have studied holistic health and are into it, it's just a lot more natural way of just keeping yourself healthy. Like one thing that I learned in the last year, one big tip I've been using is oil of oregano.
Yeah.
Like anytime I'm feeling sick or just about to get sick, you pop a squirt of that. It tastes awful. I'm not gonna lie. It tastes like it tastes terrible.
That's right. It's pretty bad, man.
But
like
holy
Buckley's, nature's
crap,
Buckley's,
does it work?
Yeah. And that's what holistic's all about, as close to as nature is intended, right? And the mainstream medical system is great. It's phenomenal for, acute symptoms that just pop up here and there. If you fall on your face like I did, to get stitched up and give you what you need to get it fixed. That stuff is so important. But for chronic issues, I'm not a big fan of that kind of stuff. I'm more of go back to nature, give the body what it needs through nature, whether it's, clean, fresh water, raw fruits and vegetables, organic free-range meats, whole clean carbs, essential fats. These things are just crucial to your body. Micronutrients, greens, all these types of things. It's so important to your body, and people just kind of look at it and be like, I'd rather just take a pill, or that's kind of foofy stuff. Right. It's not really foofy stuff. It's kind of how you're made up, It's giving your body what it is intended for, is give it the right fuel, and it will return the favor. So I know it's one of those things. I don't know where people get that stigma. It's, people talk about homeopathy and naturopath like they're
witch doctors, right?
Yeah, witch doctors, and it's crazy, man. Not everybody. I mean, the West Coast is a lot more enlightened on those types of things than other parts of the country, but it's so powerful. And it's at the end of the day, it's what's true for you is what's true for you. And if people do that stuff and they don't find it works for them, all the power to you. Do what works for you, but for the majority of people, it's going to work. It just...
Yeah, and even in a lot of Asian cultures, too, like, people have been using, like, holistic health and natural healing for a long time, like acupuncture, certain herbs, ginseng, all this other good stuff. And it's so funny because we really only see that kind of in the West.
Yeah.
That, natural healing it's odd.
Yeah, that could be a whole nother topic of discussion. I don't think we want to go that crazy, but yeah, there's a lot of controlling interest and then people call it the healthcare system, and let's be honest, it's not the healthcare system. It's the sick care system.
Right.
Keeping people sick is big business. But you know what? So is the health side of the equation. And it's just a matter of getting big companies, and that's kind of what I'm working on now, is going into big businesses and just pitching health. If people are healthy and vibrant and alive, they're a lot more productive. There's no sick days. People won't call in sick. They'll be like more creative. Mm-hmm. They'll provide you with a lot more production. But we take the opposite side where we like baby people who are sick. If you're coughing, don't come in. maybe you take care of yourself and you don't have to take a sick day, and you'll be more productive and you'll create more revenue. And it's profitable too. It's just in a different way.
Right.
And it's just getting people to see that is the big thing. And once you show that it's profitable and that it works, businesses will be behind it. That's where you're seeing more and more businesses have gyms on site, have health and wellness people. I'm doing a talk for a company next week, and they have an on-site gym and an on-site personal trainer. And this is a construction company. This is, for the most part, people call them rudimentary in their thinking when it comes to, I'm not calling all construction companies are like that, but a smaller construction company, and they have an on-site gym and an on-site personal trainer. And I thought that was very proactive of them to take that road. And more companies are doing that, and it's phenomenal to see because they're seeing the benefit of health in their employees. And
I think educating people on just having a healthier mindset and a healthier body, it goes back to being like the more productive you are and the more production you can do for your company, the overall well-being of you and your company is going to sustain a longer period of time.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't even put a number on it, man.
And like for me, I try to be as healthy as possible, but I'm also guilty of this. Like when I'm on the road, sometimes I make the convenient choice. So for you, Matt, like what do you recommend for someone like me who's traveling on the road, that doesn't have as much of an availability to like a kitchen, for example? Like what are some of the supplements that I can take on the road? What are some of the ways I can just like supplement my nutrition?
For sure. Great question, Dad. That's a great question. It's a question that I've gotten a lot is I'm busy, got a busy schedule, or those in any kind of sales business, when you're going door to door, you're going to call, it's tough. But it's crazy when we're traveling and we're doing all this stuff, we always bring clothes with us. We bring stuff to wash with us. We bring all these, our computers, our books, our notes, whatever it is. But we always forget some kind of food. We always forget, what am I going to eat? What am I going to I'll just grab something. And that's where it starts. It starts right there. Is you got to be prepared. And it doesn't have to be these big elaborate, I need to, cook all my meals first. It's just a matter of thinking ahead. So buying, there's some great clean bars out there, some great protein bars and carb bars that are all natural, that are clean, that you can take, that'll fill you up, provide you with energy. You can take a good protein shake with you, a good clean protein shake, and have a banana and some almonds with it. I mean, these are all things you can pack in your bag, or when you get somewhere, you can go to a grocery store and just buy them, and you don't have to refrigerate them. There's so many different options. Buy like a trail mix and take that with you. There's so many simple things that we can be doing to make our lives easier. Like beef jerky you can take with you, high source of protein, usually pretty clean and lean, right? So fruits and vegetables, these things you can just chop up and take with you. Have an orange, have an apple. So many things, but we just kind of overlook it. Like I'll just grab a meal, or I'll just go through a drive-through. And then how do you feel after? You feel you have that huge rush, and then you feel like crap after.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, so those are the simple things you can do. It doesn't have to be a lot. It's just, keeping your blood sugar stable, making sure you're getting a good source of protein that's going to help you, keep your metabolism going. And those things are just going to keep your focus, keep your energy up, and allow you to have a productive day, whatever you're doing.
Man, you're making me feel real guilty right now.
Oh, we all do it, man. I mean, I'm not going to be up here being I don't do this stuff or kind of slip between the lines. Everyone does it. It's just a matter of doing the right things long enough consistently is what it comes down to, right? Is making sure you're focusing on these things for the most part on a daily basis. Sometimes you're going to slip up, you're going to grow, you have a few beers. That stuff's fine, but you just got to bring it back to what's important, and your health is key.
Yeah, and one big thing too, people drink a lot of water. I think a lot of people, when they get into work mode or some type of adventure that they're on, they just forget to drink water. And that's a huge one. If you don't drink water, your body's not replenishing itself, and you're just going to feel dry at some point.
Yeah, you know what, Dad? It's crazy, man. We take something so instinctual as health and eating, and we make it so complicated. Now there's like vitamin water. There's all these like fancy drinks and all this stuff out there. It's simple. Drink lots of water, get sunlight, exercise. But the water is really important, man. So many people are drinking coffee, which is a natural diuretic, which meaning it's kind of flushing your body of the fluids. So you're dehydrated. People are dehydrated. People complain of headaches. I'm tired. I guarantee you're dehydrated. Go drink a liter of water, and you will feel 10 times better. It's going to flush your system. It's going to dehydrate you. We're mostly water. So when you're lacking water, you're going to feel tired. It's the simple things. I tell people this at work all the time. I'm feeling tired. I have a headache. Drink a glass of water. Seriously, something simple. Drink a glass of water, and you will feel a million times better. Something simple. It's People are probably laughing like, drink water, really?
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's so simple, but we forget these things. It's so instinctual to us. Listen to your body. It's telling you what it needs. And
one of the big things I've been doing more consistently now is drinking like a glass of water before I sleep. Before, when I was getting really, really like dizzy when I was waking up, and kind of like hard for me to just like restart my system.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized it was because I was so dehydrated.
Yeah.
And so when I was sleeping, my body was just like didn't have the kickstart it needed just to get out of bed. So the biggest thing I've done is just made sure that, first of all, I drink a lot of water before I sleep, like a nice glass of water. And then I also have a bottle of water on the side next to my counter. So when I wake up and I'm not really feeling in the mood to get up, I'll take a hit of that water. And it'll just, slowly, it doesn't like wake you up right away, but it just gives your body that kickstart to, just to start turning everything on.
Definitely.
Right? Just to warm the body up a little bit. And for those of you out there that do the oil pull in the morning, that also helps you wake up. And for those of you that don't know what an oil pull is, it's just getting coconut oil and putting a teaspoon in your mouth and just swishing it around I do it for 5 to 10 minutes, and it just helps release some of the toxins in your body. And then when you spit it out, it's all gone.
Absolutely. It's a great way to start the morning. And you think about it starting before you go to bed. I mean, you're going, depending how long you're sleeping, you're going without fluids or food for 6 to 8 hours if you're sleeping that long, right? Like, when in the day, if you go without eating or drinking for 6 to 8 hours, you're gonna feel kind of weird and off. So it's a good idea to drink before bed, and in the morning's huge. And add lemon to your water, actually. Lemons,
that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, people look at it as acidic, but it's actually very alkalizing to your body. Lemon water in the morning is phenomenal for you. It helps alkalize your system. It helps get, fluids moving. It's going to give you some natural energy in the morning. It's a great way to wake up. And just, I drink room temperature lemon water. I do the same. I have the same morning routine you do, Dad. I oil pull in the morning, and oil pull is great, like Dad said. It pulls all the toxins out of your mouth and your saliva that you've been accumulating all night, all those metals and all that heavy metals that come out of your system, and then you brush your teeth after. It's a great way to start the day. It keeps your gums and your teeth healthy. It's great for mouth health. It's phenomenal.
The one fruit that I actually start eating more now in the summer times is pomegranate.
Yeah, it's a great fruit.
When I was
fun
young,
to eat too.
When I was young, I was for some reason I just hated the fruit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'm like, man, what a dumb fruit. I'm opening it and all I see is seeds.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I think there's a special way to cut it though.
Wait.
I have
a tip.
Okay, here we go. The tip of the day.
So if you just cut it in half,
yeah,
and you put it over a bowl, and you get a wooden spoon, and you just hit it, all the seeds they fall down.
Oh, that's perfect.
Right into a bowl. Like it's so fresh, and I don't like to eat it by itself. I actually like to put it in a glass of water with ice and chia seeds.
Well, and then what do you like? You chew the actual pomegranate seeds?
Yeah, the pomegranate just floats, and I'm drinking. I'm just chewing it.
Well, you should patent that and make it a morning
vitamin water, the natural way.
Brought to you by LATHL.
LATHL vitamin water.
That sounds unreal. That's an interesting drink. I like it. The chia seeds are great too. Great essential fat, helps clear your digestion system. It's a great morning drink. Yeah, you might be onto something there.
Oh man, I'm gonna invent it, guys. If you see natural vitamin water in the next year or two, I did it.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
So Matt, like for you, like I want to get your take on what's the best thing to put in your body in the mornings.
The best what, sorry?
Just the best thing the things that you can put in your body in the mornings, just to give you that kickstart. Like things to stay away from, and things that are a good choice in the mornings.
For sure. So number one, like I mentioned, is lemon water is very important. And from there, what I do first thing in the morning is I juice. So I juice fresh fruits and vegetables, and that gives me all my nutrients, like everything you need to get started in the morning. Your cells they feed off that kind of stuff, right? Your body doesn't have to digest or break anything down. It literally goes and your body absorbs it immediately. And a question I get a lot is, well, why do I juice and I just eat the fruits and vegetables? I'm missing all that fiber. The thing with juicing is you don't want to stop eating your fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables, the fiber is very, very important. What you're doing when you're juicing is you're just concentrating how much nutrients you're getting at one point. And you juice 2 apples and you juice 6 carrots and you juice a cucumber and a celery stalk and a beet. I mean, that's a lot of nutrients in one glass, a lot. And like I said, it goes right into your system. Your body doesn't have to break anything down or absorb it. It's like cell energy. So perfect thing to start the morning is juice. Some great combinations, some amazing combinations out there. Some good ones are apples and carrots. Mm-hmm. You can add some celery in there, cucumbers, which is very hydrating too. Great way to start the day.
So do you guys have a Muscle Minds nutrition guidebook?
Good question. At the point, we have a large 50-page ebook, and we're going to be shortening that down and pulling out certain sections. And we have certain sections on nutritional advice and things to do for certain meals. Okay. So that will be coming down the pipeline for sure with regards to, what to have in the morning, what to have for lunch, some great snacks. And a big thing too that we found a lot of people love is the substitutes. I like my junk food. What can I substitute that's less evil or less bad? And we have some great options there too. So that's them coming down the pipe. But a couple more things you can do in the morning that are great. Like I said, lemon water, juicing is great. And giving yourself a good bowl of fruit is great as well, right? A lot of people think it's gonna, store as fat. Not the case. Fruit doesn't need insulin to go into the cells. It's so natural your body absorbs it, and it's a great way to start the day. And then you give yourself a little bit of a time before you actually eat something. You want that fruit to digest. You don't want to ferment the other foods. Give yourself about 15 minutes or so, and then have a solid breakfast. So again, you want some kind of raw fruit or vegetable in there. I usually have some spinach or some cucumbers. Some avocado is a great way. Essential fats to get started on your day. Organic eggs are phenomenal. Again, eggs get a bad rap. Everyone's about the egg whites. The yolks is one of the most important part of the egg. It's the core of the egg. It's got the essential fats, great vitamins and minerals are in there. So don't throw your yolks out.
There's so many bandwagoners out there.
Yeah, I know. Just need my egg whites. I can get with you're competing and you need to really watch your fats and your macros. I get that. But everyday people, eat your yolks, people. Seriously. And then some good carbs. So a great, steel-cut oats are great. Ezekiel bread is great, depending if you're a gluten fan or not. But there's gluten-free oatmeal, too. And that gives you kind of a full spectrum of things. You get your alkalizing water. You get your alkalizing and cellular energy from your juice. And then you get some solid food and fats from your avocado, vegetables, eggs, and oatmeal.
Man, you guys should get into food prep for businessmen.
Yeah.
Muscle mind food preps for the elites.
I like that, man. I like that. And there's a lot of companies doing that now. You're seeing that business explode with regards to food prep because people are getting it. It's simple, it's on the go, but they're getting healthy meals. Mm-hmm. And it's probably the same price if you ever go to a grocery store and buy yourself and prep it all, but all the work's done for you. And there's some great companies doing that. I've used one myself out of Surrey, and it's great. It's great. So that's something we could look at too. It's just another business opportunity that's available in this immense industry that's growing. And
there's opportunities everywhere, guys. And for those people, I've seen and I've talked to just a few people I know personally, and they're in certain industries, and they have this attitude where it's there's not really any opportunity, and I'm just kind of waiting for my boss to retire so I can take his position. And what a wasted opportunity thinking like that.
Yeah.
Seriously, in this life, regardless of where you are, you can take an opportunity or you can just have an obligation. And when I just talk to people and I try to understand where they're coming from and the whys behind everything they're doing, some of these people aren't really passionate about what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're just kind of doing it because someone told them it was a good way to make money, or their parents just approved. There's only one person you owe a duty to in this life, and that's yourself. That's the only person that you go to sleep with every single night, and you can't escape that person, right? So keep that in mind. Love your family, love your friends, but sometimes they don't know the best for you. And that's so true, right?
I agree. I was funny enough, man. It's crazy how all this stuff comes together. But I was actually listening to Earl Nightingale, and I'm not sure if anyone has ever listened to him, but he is phenomenal. He was a very popular self-development author and speaker, and came out with the famous, I don't call it speech or talk, called The Strangest Secret. And in that, he talks about if you ask people why they wake up in the morning, or why they go to work, why they do what they do, most people don't have an answer. Most people don't know why they wake up in the morning. Most people don't know why they're going to work. They don't have that why. And it's sad, but they just don't know. It's unconscious incompetence. They don't know what they don't know. And that is, when I heard that, I listened to that CD over and over again, but when I heard that again, I just thought, people are waking up, but they don't know why they're going to work. They're waking up, but they don't know why they're doing what they're doing, because they don't have that big why. They don't have a vision for their life or whatever it is. And you're right, Dad. The people around you sometimes don't know the best for you. And I think it's very important when you come to that is to surround yourself with good people who are going to uplift you. Just us talking tonight before we started the podcast. We were talking about having goosebumps. We were connecting. We were talking about business ideas. And, that got me fired up. And it's those kind of connections with people that's going to take you to the next step. So, again, have a why. Have your vision and find people that are going to support that. And that's huge.
And that's a big purpose of this podcast is just to get people off their ass.
Yeah. And I remember the last podcast you did with the Stronghold team, Farsh and Andrew, and I listened to that, and I'm into this material. I listen to audios, I read, I do all this stuff, but I listened to that, and I got fired up. Like, I was like, let's go, let's get to work. What can I read next? What can I do next? How can I work on the business? It literally got me fired up, and I loved it. And it's constantly doing that stuff. It's constantly working on yourself, constantly motivating yourself. It's so important.
Yeah, and it's a mindset, and it's a belief system, and it's a way of life. Like, living at the highest level, you don't have to be an exec, right? You can be whoever you want to be, but the goal and the aim is just to get you to pursue what you are ultimately passionate about and what you have a burning desire to do in your life. That's it.
Yeah.
Find what that is, get off your ass, and go do it.
That's right. Like Steve Jobs says, right? I mean, find something you love to do, or do something you love to do every day. I mean, if you wake up with enough days in a row and you don't like what you're going to do, then find something else. Because you think about it, and he said a good point is, when you have the perspective that you're going to die one day, I mean, it puts so many things in perspective. Like, why waste time? Go do what you love to do. Why wake up another day dreading life and hating what you're doing? Go chase what you want to be doing.
Yeah, if the people aren't supporting you in your immediate environment, go find a different environment to be a part of.
Exactly.
Right? Create that. This is what you're able to do in this lifetime.
Exactly.
And if you're listening to this podcast, you will always get reinforced that belief system, because this is what it's all about. This is LATHL. And Matt, I know we've took a bit of your time here. Any last words, and how can people connect to you, Matt?
Yeah, so website is in the works right now. That should be launching pretty soon. And you can find me on Instagram under muscle_mind08. You can find me on Facebook by my full name, Matt Elieff, on there. And you can also shoot me an email. It's matt_muscleminds@gmail.com. So shoot me an email if people have questions, if you want to learn some more about what the Muscle Minds vision is, what we're about, if you want learn some more about supplementation, about nutrition, about the holistic side of the equation.
And for any businesses out there that have a huge team, this man is your go-to guy to get your company fired up in the right way, really just getting them inspired from the inside out, because that's what really matters. People think it's the opposite. People think, oh yeah, I'm just going to buy a nice suit and be super fulfilled and just imaginally just create things. But it starts from the inside out, people.
That's right. It starts with your mind, Muscle Minds.
Thanks again for tuning in to Living at the Highest Level. We'll see you next week.